Really unlucky there at the end of that qualifying, and if I told you that it looked like you were on a par with Sergio's time as you came around, you were on a par with Sergio's time as you came around to that last sector, you must be doubly disappointed.
Yes, I know. First time I was matching Sergio, I was a bit faster than him also on the data. It's a shame, but yeah, I couldn't complete it unfortunately because of the red flag. That's how it is. Let's hoping for some rain tomorrow to catch in the front now.
This is the first time you've driven around here, so you've had an almighty challenge just to get set for qualifying, if you like, essentially. So what can you do in the race tomorrow? I mean, forecast is rain, could mix things up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely it will mix up things, but it will be new for everyone. No one has really raced with the rain tires or the wet tires, so it will be just go in with no experience, and I like this. I mean, that's what I'm doing almost all the time now because I'm learning the tracks and everything. So if it rains, I mean, it's going to be also a better show, and from the back, we'll have more chance to come back.
What are your thoughts on these new tires, wet tires this year, wets and inters?
I think there's more aquaplaning, so let's hope they start the race actually. But if they start it, I think it's going to be a nice race.
Well, that's the view of the drivers after a thrilling qualifying session. And have you worked out, let's talk about Bottas and Vettel first, shall we, before we get on to Lewis. You worked out what 1,000th of a second is in distance around here?
5.9 centimeters.
You have worked it out?
Yes.
5.9 centimeters?
Yes, wow. It's not a lot.
Incredible. I mean, it's astonishing, isn't it? We changed the rules. We're expecting to see this big spread of people, but that's as interesting as anything for me, how close it is around here. You got any explanation?
No, you can see that Ferrari and us, we're quite a step ahead of the others, but it's amazing. As you say, you invent these new rules, same for everybody, but completely different to last year, and you have two cars that are so close to each other.
Okay, what are your thoughts then on how the session went and how this day has been? Because it's been only one day of dry preparation. How's that affected things in this team?
For an engineer to set up a car, of course, it's the perfect storm. You're missing relevant data points, and it's about putting the car in the best possible position, and it's being made worse by the completely different climatic conditions tomorrow. 10 degrees colder, rain, so it's really, we are in the dark.
Okay, Toto, listen, you've got to go. Thank you very much for talking to us. So that's interesting story number one for me. I can update you on what happened with Max Verstappen as well. He actually wasn't running on a V6, he was running on a V4 because he lost 2 cylinders in his car, and the boys are very busy rebuilding that right now. As for Sebastian Vettel, he said on the radio, tomorrow, guys, is another day. Thanked his team. He said, don't worry, tomorrow is another day. So we'll see what happens there. But let's hear from Niki Lauda. I caught up with him just after the session ended, and he let me in on an amazing bet that he had with Toto Wolff in the middle of the qualifying session. Well, Niki, I'm sure you enjoyed watching that lap. That was some driving from Lewis there. Did you think Ferrari had you?
Yeah, I made a bet with Toto at 10 euros on Vettel because he really looked quick at the car, everything was right. But Lewis, thank God, pulled out one of his special laps. For Bottas, 1,000th of a second to be third. I'm sorry, but it's close, it's close.
So what's the issue? Is it, are we just seen at a track that's normally favoured Mercedes? Is it just that the Ferrari is just plain quicker, or have you not had the setup time you want, or what? Is there any explanation?
No, the explanation is that Ferrari grew up in Barcelona test, won the first race, is still on the way up, so it is very close between us. In the moment, I think in the qualifying we're still quicker, but let's wait for the race tomorrow.
Okay, fascinating. Thank you very much, Niki.
Great, perfect timing. Thank you, Paul, because joining us here is Lance Stroll. Lance, first time into Q3. Great effort today. Must be a real confidence booster.
Yeah, it was a very good day, I think. You know, I think the goal for today was definitely Q3, and we achieved it. So, you know, yesterday being a difficult day, you know, for everyone, no running, and my first time here, I think, you know, coming in this morning, having a good FP3, excuse me, and then a good quali, I think it was a good day.
Saw your dad earlier on. He was a little bit nervous going into this qualifying session. Have you seen him yet? Because he must be a happy, happy daddy.
I haven't. I just went right into the lion's den. So
one thing we were speaking about as well, the wind. Did that sort of really make it a little bit more difficult during the session?
The wind?
Yeah,
it changed a bit, didn't it?
Change, yeah,
I noticed on the Delta. I think, yeah, it might have put me off a little bit, put everyone off. I mean, same for everyone. But definitely my session, I think there was some highs and some lows. Q1, I think, was very good. The first lap wasn't so good, so we had to put that extra set on that we didn't really want to in Q1, and then Q2 again was good enough to get into Q3, and Q3 I really just had that one set, so I went forward and I made a few mistakes in my lap, and it just really wasn't the lap time I think we know we could do. But the goal was already accomplished getting into Q3, and I'm happy with that.
Where do you believe the car is at right now? Yeah, great stuff from Toto there. I mean, do you think realistically at the moment that you're sort of battling for fourth? You put yourself at the front of the queue there, behind the top three?
I think it's still early days. I mean, it is only the second Grand Prix. Australia, we all know, is not the perfect track to define where everyone is. But it looks like, you know, from winter testing and stuff, it looks like we're the fourth team. I wouldn't say we're comfortably the fourth team, because I think this year it's very tight between Renault, Force India, I think is right there. You know, Haas in Australia was super quick in quali, so I think it's still early days, but you know, we definitely have a good race car. You know, the team worked really hard over the winter, and we're working hard at the track, and you know, the results are showing. Both cars in Q3, I think it was a very good day for the team.
Great confidence boost, obviously, getting into Q3. What about tomorrow? Maybe a different scenario. Are you looking forward to it? Are you worried about it?
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
You know, first race in the wet, you know, for me, and well, only second race in Formula One, but you know, still only one run yesterday in my life in a Formula One car in the wet. So looking forward to some more tomorrow. But you know, it's going to be a long race. Should be a tricky race, so hopefully a good one.
Physically, how hard are you finding it, demanding wise? I mean, it seems to me as if we talk about Pascal Wehrlein saying that he can't get back into the car because he's got this sort of training deficit. How hard are they to control from the wheel compared with other cars you might have driven in other Formula?
I feel good in the car physically. I feel like it's even easier, to be honest, than Formula 3 in many ways. Formula 3 having a really, really heavy steering wheel, now having power steering, it makes it a lot easier. I think the biggest thing is the neck. You know, you definitely can feel high-speed corners, a lot of G-force on the neck. So it's definitely demanding, you know, especially compared to older cars from previous years. But I trained hard over the winter, and I'm feeling good.
Thanks for talking to us,
Thank
Lance.
you.
Good luck tomorrow. Appreciate your time, really do. Okay, let's go and hear from both of the Red Bull Bulls, starting with Max Verstappen.
Max, that was a difficult qualifying. Problems with the car, you get called to the weighbridge and don't get a chance to get a good lap in.
Yeah, just problems straight away, so no power. Some issues in there, I don't know what it was exactly, so they're still investigating. But yeah, not what we want, of course.
You're going to start at the back tomorrow, but there is rain forecast. Can you have some fun tomorrow?
Yeah, it should be better when it's raining. I mean, we are not that competitive compared to Mercedes and Ferrari, but I will try. I will give it my best, you know, to come forward and overtake some people.
See some moves like we saw in Brazil.
To be honest, I don't know. I also don't think about it yet. I just want to enjoy the driving tomorrow and try to just pass some people.
Better luck tomorrow. Danny, are you smiling today?
More than yesterday. There's more to be happy about because I got to drive the car in anger. And look, you know, I don't feel we could have done better than fifth. So personally, obviously, I couldn't have done much more. But yeah, you still look at the gap to the leaders, and it's still bigger than I expected. So, and to be honest, the car didn't feel too bad. So you know, there's, I guess, just probably some pure performance things which we need to gain. But yeah, it was okay. Fifth is close to the front, at least as close as we can get for now. And if it rains, maybe an opportunity arises.
What sort of challenge have the team got at the moment? Because obviously you're up there in fifth, but we've got a similar situation to we had in Australia. Max is going to be starting at the back. There's just one car up there.
Yeah, it's, I mean, obviously not ideal for a team situation. I think Max had some issues with the engine software, the mapping. So as far as I'm aware, he didn't have full power, which obviously hurt him in Q1. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we get two cars more towards the front soon, and that can try some way put some pressure on the Ferrari Mercedes.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Can you just talk me through that, starting in P4 again as you did in Australia? Was there much more left in your lap today?
Yeah, putting the car a bit better overall, yes. But I think, yes, it's a bit disappointing, fourth place, but the car is feeling better and we found more the setup right. But obviously, yesterday limited running didn't help us. But, you know, some small issues here and there to limit keeping us to make a better lap times, but it's close there, so it's what it is today.
Does the rain tomorrow, or the forecast rain tomorrow, give you an opportunity to get up there on the podium and even challenge your teammate?
Well, we'll see what happens. Obviously, I think the speed is pretty okay now, so weather conditions, we have to finish the race and do the best what we can and see what tomorrow brings.
Fernando, just talk me through that session. We heard you say you pushed like an animal. Any animal in particular out there?
All the animals together, elephant. I think we really push the maximum. Obviously, we felt very uncompetitive in FP3, so we went into Q1 with some pessimism in the targets, and I did the lap flat out in some corners, like not caring too much about the risking over the limit, and everything went well. I crossed the line and said, wow, this lap is good. We are P10 and it should be enough to be in Q2, and then now P13 in Q2 I think is a big surprise for us with the expectations we had before qualifying, so now we need to capitalize tomorrow this position and hopefully bring some points.
You mentioned something about the battery and charging the battery. Is there a problem there? And that's obviously going to be a big concern with the long straights here if that does continue.
No, we had some issues with the yellow flag of Giovinazzi, and the moment that it happened, we could not have the battery ready for the next lap. But no, it was fine. We have a little issue in the garage at the start of Q2 that the engine didn't fire up for whatever reason, so it was a little bit of a stress there, but at the end it was okay.
And rain tomorrow, that's good for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think in normal conditions it's unlikely that we can get some points, so yeah, a chaotic race will help us. We raced a couple of times here in the wet, so we should use that experience to take any opportunity.
Lewis, many congratulations. 6 poles in a row now, something only matched by Ayrton Senna.
Oh, really? Wow, that's cool.
How did it feel? Martin Brundle described it as sensational and textbook on our commentary.
I don't know about textbook, but it was obviously it's very close. So we knew that Ferraris have been quickest in Q1 and Q2. I mean, they were putting in some good laps, and I didn't know, honestly, where we, obviously knew it was going to be close, but I didn't know whether we would be ahead or behind. So all I knew I could do was just do the best lap I could possibly do. And each time I went out, I eked out a little bit more time, and that the first lap in Q3 was a really good lap. But then went back out into 2/10 up, which I'm grateful I finished the lap nice and clean, because now one small mistake or one loss of a thousandth of a tenth, for example, or a second, can put you one step back, and that's 8 meters. So I'm really happy that I was able to pull that together.
Standing starts behind the safety car if it's wet tomorrow. Have you thought about those? And I know you've done an outlap on those wet tyres, and that's it so far.
I think it'll be so exciting, particularly as practice, starts are so much harder than they were before. So there's going to be a lot of variability. I think tomorrow people might not be going too far in the first instance because lots of wheel spin. It's not easy to gauge where you have to put. It's actually very, very hard to figure out where you've got to put your hand. It's basically, I don't know if people realize when they're watching TV, but we have the clutch. You pull it 100%, and you have to drop it to a certain target, but there's no reference points. So it's behind the steering wheel, so you're just guessing. That's 50%, that's 30%, that's 70%, and you hope that you hit it. The difference between 2% can make a big difference, whether you get away or you don't, or you will spin or you don't. So it's tough.
Going to be an exciting race. The racing fans want to see is back, I'm sure, but also a lot of them have said thank you for what you did yesterday, going out on track and throwing the caps in those sessions. So something I guess we hope other drivers will take up as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the engagement with I think us engaging with the fans is key for this sport. That's what they come here to see. They come here to see the cars, but also to engage with a certain character that they've taken a liking to. And it's impossible to ignore my fans that are standing out there with those flags. They're so noticeable. There's another place around turn 14. We've got a lot of British flags there. Yeah, and this whilst the weather's up and down when we come here, we've got a fantastic track. And whilst it's a long way out of the city and takes a long time to get to here every day, it's these fans come out and they stayed all day yesterday in not the greatest weather, so we've got to make sure we keep this race.
Felipe, P6 again, same as Australia. You pleased with that performance today?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a good performance we had today. So I took the maximum. It was also quite tricky to get the position from Hülkenberg. I just managed to do a very good lap time at the end. We managed to save 2 sets for Q3, which was a good choice. So yeah, I'm happy with the result. I'm happy with the qualifying. Definitely this morning we were in front of Red Bull, but I guess they were heavier. So, but anyway, we are there fighting, and I really hope we can have a good race tomorrow.
No one really knows what race pace is like around here because we haven't really had a chance to find out. So what are your thoughts on the race, although at the moment it looks like it's going to be a wet one?
Well, nobody knows how it's going to be the weather, first of all, you know. So the weather tomorrow can be crazy, and we need to be open and ready for everything. I did a long run this morning, maybe not a big one, long one, but enough to understand. I think everything looks in a good direction for the race tomorrow. We just need to be completely open mind for the race and the condition.
Nico, fantastic lap in Q2 from you to get you into Q3 in the first place. Are you pleased with today's running?
Yeah, very. I think it would be silly if I said no. I mean, no, very good performance from the car. Good balance, much happier in the car in general than what it was in Melbourne. So I think, you know, this track here, which is less bumpy, suits the car a lot more. Obviously didn't get running in yesterday, but this morning from the first lap I felt quite good in the car, and I think hence the good performance today.
What's the potential of this car in the race tomorrow, wet or dry?
It's hard to say. That's the thing, you know, we don't know anything, which is good in a way. You know, that the usually so good prepared and well prepared Formula One teams maybe don't know all the answers before the race. Could be interesting. If it's wet, obviously it could be an opportunity, more risk at the same time also. So just got to be open-minded, you know, do a good job, take the right decisions, and then see where we are.
P8 for the race tomorrow, Checo. Are you pleased?
Very pleased. I think, given where the pace of the car is at the moment, I'm very satisfied with that. Very happy, and yeah, I think it's a game that we have to play at the moment. You know, we have to improve the car, and once we don't have a competitive car, we basically have to take the maximum that is available on our hands, and I think it's what we did today. Probably we were helped by the fact that we didn't do a lot of running yesterday because the quicker teams didn't have the time to exploit the full potential of the car, so that helped us. And tomorrow, if we have rain, then it's a big opportunity for us.
I was going to say, if the rain does come, does it provide an opportunity? But also, what do you know of your car in the wet?
That is pink, basically.
So we'll be able to see it, but will it be going quickly?
Well, it'll be a lot of unknowns. You know, we haven't run the tires at all, so it will be a nice challenge that I'm up for it. Thank you.